I'm going to show you an even crazier XP farm today. So last time around, we had 20,000 XP per minute. I have a way now to bump that up to 40,000 XP per minute. This time around, we're going to have to do some more outpost building. It's going to get a little more complicated than last time. I'm going to try to go a little bit faster than last time because a lot of people have already seen my last video, but I know some of you are new, so I'm still going to explain a lot of the process. If you need more details, go back to my last video. I'll link it in the description of this video below the first paragraph. Also, if I go too fast for you, don't forget that at the bottom of the video player, there's a little cog wheel you can hit, and you can change the playback speed down to 0.75 if I'm going too fast. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get right into this one. First, we need to go to Jemison Mercantile. This is New Atlantis in Jemison in Alpha Centauri. We do this so we can transfer our ship easily. We see what she has for sale. We need a bunch of resources. So here's the resources you need. We're going to craft some of them later. We need adaptive frame, which we can make with iron and aluminum. We need aluminum. We need beryllium. We need cobalt. We need copper. We need comm relays, which she doesn't have, but we can make with some of these materials that we're buying, so it doesn't really matter. We need iron. We also need lead. We need nickel, and then we need reactive gauges, which she doesn't have, but we can make with these ingredients we're buying. We also need sealant, and then we also need not tantalium. We need titanium, which she doesn't have, and then we also need tungsten, which she has, and then we need some zero wire. Then we're gonna go from here, gonna back out, and like I was saying a second ago, you're gonna go into your inventory, you're gonna go to your ship, go to your cargo hold, and then go to your inventory, and then from Jemison Mercantile, you can just transfer everything over to your ship. My ship's full, but you'll transfer from here. After you do that, you can head out this way and sit in one of the chairs over here and wait 24 hours to refresh your shop stock and then buy more. Optionally, you can go to ship services at the ship port here in New Atlantis, ask them to view and modify your ships, and you can upgrade your cargo. So pick a ship that you have, and then click on shipbuilder at the bottom, and then delete a piece if you need to, and then add. And then go to the cargo, click on the cargo, you can put it on here. You can also hit Control G on keyboard to duplicate. The controls are at the bottom. I don't know what it is on Xbox. And you just add more cargo to if you want. Optionally, you can also just go all out and make a freighter like I have here. And I made a video for this. I don't know if I'm going to put it out before this video or it'll come out sometime after this video. But if it's out by now, it'll be in the description of this video below the first paragraph on how to make one like this. But you don't need to go this far. This one costs over 100,000 credits. So now we need to colonize 2 different planets to get resources. So here's Alpha Centauri. But first thing we're going to do is go to Serpentis. This is the first one we need to go to. There's a planet here called Serpentis VD, and we're just going to go ahead and jump to that planet. Now that we're here, we're going to scan it, which I've already done. You're going to hit this button over here to show the resources or to scan it. So this one right here is iron. You can find iron in mountains or frozen hills. And then you can find aluminum in the craters. We can also find helium-3 here. So what we want is we want to find an area where there's craters right next to mountains without hills in between. So one area is going to be right over here. So right here we can see mountains. And if we click and then click and move left, click and then move left, eventually it goes from mountain straight over to crater. So right on that little border of mountain to crater, right around here, you're going to land. You want to get as close to the border as possible. This will randomly generate a map. Now, if you don't like what you see, or if the weather's too bad to see, then open up your map and then show the resources again, and then try to find an area right nearby that's also right on the border like that, and then just generate a brand new map. And keep doing this until you get one that has what I'm about to show you. So if you generate a few maps like this, you should get something like this, where we have craters that then turn into a mountains biome. So there's 2 biomes converging on the same spot. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go run over to that seam between the 2 biomes. Once you get to the seam, what you're going to do is open up the scanner. At the bottom is an outpost button. It's R by default. When you pull up this outpost, it shows what resources are in range. So you're going to go down this border until you see it say iron and aluminum up there. Once you find a spot that says iron and aluminum like this, you're going to place this. Then you're going to go to toggle view at the bottom, which is V on keyboard. And then you're going to change to the aluminum extractor and see what you got here. And then you're going to go to the iron extractor and see what you have for iron. Now, if you're not happy with what you got, you can keep searching. Or if you're kind of happy but uncertain, then you can just leave this outpost and keep following the border and go place more. You can have up to 3 at once, and then you can just come back later and delete them by holding that button right there. It says rename. It's R on keyboard. I don't know what it is on Xbox. You can come back and delete them later until you find your favorite ones. So you can keep stacking and come back later. Also, this is a great way to readjust. So in this case right here, I don't have all of the iron, and I don't have a good job on the aluminum. So I actually need to take this base, I need to move it this way just a little bit in order to get more resources in the circle. So that's as simple as holding that button and deleting it. It'll say it's permanent. Then opening up the scanner again, and then moving this thing forward about that far. And now it should be good to go. Take another look. Now I got the iron in the circle. We got more of the aluminum in the circle. And you can always be more perfect with this than I am. I'm just demonstrating it for you, so I don't need to do it perfectly right now. Now we're going to start spending those resources. So if you've done better research, you can actually go to the different tabs here and make higher level ones that get more resources. But for this video, we're just going to do the basic ones. It's just going to be proof of concept video here. And you don't really need it for this one anyway. So we're going to put down aluminum extractors. I'm just going to put down 4 of them for now. And then we're going to go to the iron, and I'm going to put down a few of the iron ones as well. We'll make it even. We'll put 4 and 4. And you only need them. You need to just fit them any way you can to fit as many as possible. They don't need to be fully in the circle or anything like that. Once you have that, you're going to need power in order to power them. This planet is best with solar arrays. So I'm going to go up here where there's nothing else to really build. And I'm just going to spam some solar arrays over here. At the bottom right, you can see how much power you have. Now I'm at 56. And now I'm at, after doing another one, 64, 68, 72, 80, 88 power, whatever. I have 88 power. I have enough power now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build storage. Now, if you haven't upgraded to any research, you'll only have these basic storages. So rotate them. The line is going left to right. So if I'm doing this, it's going to go up and down on the screen. So if I build this right here, it's going to go this way and that way. So keep that in mind with placing these. Also, elevation makes it really weird to do it. So good luck placing storages. It's a whole technique trying to learn it. But you only need a few of them there. So there's the ones for the one resource. And then here's going to be the ones for the aluminum. So I'm just going to really quick slap down, like, say, 5 of these or something like that. And you can see already with the elevation. Now the elevation could be a pain to try to deal with. But there we go. We got it figured out. So now what you do is go to modify mode. At the bottom right is tab on keyboard. And then you're going to take these and you're going to right click them and press E. It's the create output link at the bottom. And you're going to make output links to the same cargo or same storage box for all of these. And then you're going to click the storage box and connect them to the next storage boxes like this. And then you're going to do the same thing over here for the aluminum. But when doing the aluminum, obviously, we're going to put them in the other one. I always think it's good to keep your resources separated. It's just a much better practice in general. Now we need a few more things here. Go back to the build mode. We're going to go over to the builders, and we're going to build a simple fabricator. We're going to put it just right here for now. That's fine. Then we're going to go to storage, and we're going to make warehouses. We're only going to make a few of them. We don't need a crazy amount, so we're just going to build warehouses. However, we just want to try to keep them on ground level if we can, so it's easier to get to them. So we'll just build like 5 of these. You can build more if you want. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to modify mode. And we're going to, actually before modify mode, we're going to go over to the fabricator that we made. And we're going to change this thing over to the, I already forgot the name of the item. It's the frame, the adaptive frame. Make sure it's on adaptive frame like that before you do this, or else you'll have to redo the wires. So now we're going to go back to the building mode. And then we're going to toggle that view again. We're going to go to make sure it's on modify mode. We're going to take these resources, the last one in the line, and we're going to connect them to that. We're going to connect this to the warehouses, and then we're going to connect all the warehouses together like this. And now we're set. We have iron, we have aluminum, and we have adaptive frames. All we got to do now is wait. So you can either build a bench in build mode, go over to this tab right here, and build a bench, or you can go to a different planet to wait. It's up to you. Actually, I don't remember how slow this planet spins. Let's find out. This planet spins really slow, so it's actually a great planet. Resources are gathered in universal time. So you want a planet where 1 local hour is a lot of universal time hours. So this planet's actually great. You can just sit here now and wait for like 5 or 10 hours to let all those storages fill up. So now all the storages are full after about 6 hours or so. Now what we're going to do is open up the outpost again. We need 1 more building. So we're going to go to build mode and go to view. We're going to go to the last tab here, and we're going to build a ship a landing pad with ship builder. And we're just going to try to find anywhere to stick this down. Now what we need to do is we need to go over to it, and we need to get up to the top like this and go to the console, say view and modify ships. Pick a different ship, make it your home ship, then go back to your normal ship and make that your home ship, and it should teleport it in. Now if it's your first time doing it, the ship will be invisible, but it's actually there right now. It's just a bug, at least right now on launch. But once it's there, what you can do is you can go back over to the cargo, and you can start grabbing all the stuff that's in all these boxes. And don't forget to grab the aluminum and the iron as well, because you're going to need the iron, the aluminum, and the adaptive frames for the next part. And then the final step for this outpost is to open up your inventory and go to your ship. Go down here and click on cargo hold. Now that it's really close, we can transfer things to it. Go to your inventory, go to your resources, and say store all resources, or do it manually one at a time. Now all that iron, the adaptive frames, and the aluminum are on the ship, and we're ready for the next phase of this project. Now open up the map of this planet, show the resources again. Now we need to find an area that is a border of craters and hills. So we can go to an area like this. We can click this and then try to move it right to the border by clicking it and then clicking it again and moving up. and then finding the border, which is right around here somewhere. Travel there and keep doing that thing before. If it doesn't have what we want, we'll generate new ones until we find the border between the two biomes, which this generation was not what I wanted. So like I was saying, you just go back to the map then, and then you just find the seam again between hills and craters. And then you travel and make a new one. Keep doing it over and over again until you find another one of those biome borders. I finally found one of the maps. It's extremely hard to tell the difference on this planet. So the craters have white rocks, and the hills biome has these like bluish rocks. So if the weather's bad, it's very, very hard to find the border. So now that we found the border between these biomes, we can see what's here. There's nickel over there. There's aluminum over there. So that's what we can confirm we did find the border. This is in fact the border. So now we're going to attempt to follow this border, which is really hard to visualize. And we're going to do this until we find cobalt, nickel, and helium-3 all clumped together. And I just want to reiterate, this is one of the hardest planets biomes in the game to try to find the seam of. So the blue rocks, white rocks, and all that, it's very hard to visualize. So here I found the seam again. There's a very slight difference in the color of the ground between that color and I don't even know what those colors are called. That is the seam. I found this area right here that thankfully is going to be a little bit easier for me to follow, but it's so easy to lose track of this and just get lost in one of the biomes and not be on the seam anymore. So after like half an hour, I found a spot that might be okay right here, and we can double check it with toggle view, and we got the bug where a quarter of the circle is just gone. This is just a bug, and it's going to steal some of our helium. So I don't really want this spot, but it's a backup spot. So the cobalt, the nickel's over here. We got enough nickel. That's fine. And then we got a little bit of cobalt. So it's not the greatest spot ever, but it's okay. So I'm going to keep this spot, and I'm just going to go keep looking and see if I can find an even better one. And if I can't find anything else, I'll just fall back to that spot. So I tried generating a new map to see if I get lucky, and I got lucky immediately. So we're going to see if this is good at all. So I'm going to toggle view again. We're going to look at what the helium situation is. That is barely in there. Let's see how the cobalt looks. The cobalt is kind of barely in there, and the nickel is barely in there. But I might be able to adjust that some, but I'll just leave this for now and keep looking. So after some more searching, I found another spot to try out. We're going to check this one out. It's not that good either, but I kind of want to just make the guide and move on. So there's helium over here, the teeny bit of helium. There's a little bit of cobalt there and a little bit of nickel there. So if you're going to do this, you can definitely want to wait and find a better one or research better stuff so that you can put down better extractors. So I'm going to put down the level 2 extractors for the helium, just to make up for how little of it I have available to me. And then we're going to go over to the cobalt. I'm going to put level 2 as well. I'd highly recommend researching level 2 if you don't have a good spot like this, so that way you can get more out of it. And then we're also going to put down the level 2 nickel ones as well. And I'll not have room for very many, maybe 3 at most. And this will be good enough for a demonstration. So we're just going to do it like this for now. So we're going to need a ton of power, so don't forget to throw down a ton of solar arrays. So now I'm going to throw down solid storage. Because I have better ones researched, I'm going to throw down the level 3 ones. But if you have level 1s, you just put down level 1s. I'm going to make a second strip, so one of these is going to be nickel, and one of these is going to be cobalt. I'm also going to go over here by the helium and put down storage for the gas as well. Just make a little bit of backlog storage for this. And then we're going to go to modify mode with tab and right-click E for both of these, connect them to the storage, and then right-click E and connect all of these. If you're on Xbox, there'll be different controls. Controls are at the bottom right. And then I'm going to go over my nickel and my cobalt. I'm going to connect these as well into their own separate storages. And once I'm done with that, I'm also going to connect all of these storages in line like that. And we're going to do the same thing on the other one like this and not connect them to each other. We want to keep our resources as separate as possible. Now I need to make some reactive gauges, me personally. If you need any specialty things, just put it on an industrial workbench. If you have this bug that says it's obstructed, just save your game and load your game. It's a common bug right now with Outposts. Saving and loading should fix it. Okay, so the bug has evolved where none of this is usable. I'm going to have to go to a different colony whenever I need to make any specialty supplies, so that's crazy. The bug's gotten that bad now. So I went to another colony, made reactive gauges, and I made comm relays. Now I came back, but there's one other thing that I need to get, that you'll need to get. So what you've got to do now is over here, there's a place called Groom Bridge to the top right of Alpha Centauri. You don't have to go here. You can go to any place that has this resource. But this planet here has titanium. And if you don't have high surveying, you won't be able to see the titanium on the resources map. But it's pretty much everywhere. So you can just guess a few times and eventually you'll get lucky and get it. But if you do want to be able to see it on that map, then you're going to want to go to your skills and you'll have to get scanning level 2. I'm going to skip the base building for the titanium because I've done it twice now. You get the point how to do it. You just got to find a spot, make extractors, make storage, and then grab a bunch of titanium. Hopefully now when you go to the building, you see storage and there's warehouse. The top left uses titanium. Hopefully now you have a bunch of titanium. So what we're going to need to do now is we're going to need to build a boatload of these warehouses. We're going to want to build like at least 20, 30, 40, 50, something like that. So I'm going to build them out like this. And then I'm going to build a second layer. You can also build up layers like this. Or let me get the line up on the left here. You can build them up like this. And then just go one at a time like this as well. I'm going to make all these and I'm going to connect them all. I finished the wall of warehouses. Now I'm going to go to the builders tab. And I'm going to make these simple fabricators. So I only need one of them probably. But I'm going to go ahead and just make 3 of them. Now what I'm going to do is go in front of them. And I'm going to change what their task is. Each one of these has a control console. You're going to interact with it. And you're going to change each one of these to isocentered magnet. Now that they're all set up, go back to build mode, go back to modify mode, and you're going to connect these boxes to every single one of these fabricators. Once everything's connected, take these fabricators and connect them to the first one of these warehouse boxes. And now for the really crazy part. We're going to take cargo link intersystems from the miscellaneous tab, and we're going to attempt to use 3 of these at once. I'll explain it all in a sec, but just make 3 of these. After you've placed them, go over to your helium-3 storage, go to the last one in the line, and connect them to this little tiny box in the back. That's the helium attachment point. Then you're going to go to the last manufacturing box in the line of attachments that you made for them and attach them to the red box on every single one of these. The red box is the one on the right when you have it spun like this. And finally, just as a backup measure, go to the miscellaneous tab and make a landing pad with shipbuilder. Hopefully we won't have to use it, but just in case we'll make it. And now for the moment, we're done with this colony. We may come back here for a sec to change some things, but we're done here. Let's move on to the next part, the final step in this process. The final planet we need to colonize is over in Andromos. It's to the top right of Alpha Centauri. There's a system right here. There's a moon over here called Andromos 6b. You're going to go to Andromos 6b. You're going to show the resources, and this planet has copper right there, and it has beryllium. So in order to do this, beryllium's in craters and copper's in frozen plains. So just like before, you got to find the border between frozen plains and craters, something like that. And that's where you'll land, and you'll try to do the same thing as before and find a border between 2 biomes that has copper and beryllium and the helium-3 all within range of each other. I'm going to skip the colony building for this one because we've done it twice. I've already made a colony. I'm just going to go straight to that, and I'm going to show you the next step in the process. And welcome back to that base you saw at the beginning of the video. So this is the base that we have here. I'm going to go ahead and start adding to this now. So we're going to add in cargo link inner systems. I'm going to see if I can fit one in back here, maybe. We're going to try to put down 3 of these things. So I got down 3 of these things, and real quick, let me show you around this base. So we have a big copper deposit here, we have a big beryllium deposit here, and we had a big helium deposit here, but this game's completely broken on launch, and the helium deposit actually disappeared during the making of this video. You can see I still have the helium extractors from when it was there, and thankfully, they're still making helium, so I'm locked in and don't have to go find a new spot. And then we're going to need even more titanium because it's time to make another ginormous warehouse storage like we have on the other colony. So I got the warehouses built. I wanted to point something out. During the process of building it, my helium-3 came back. So hey, I got my helium-3 again. Definitely no bugs or exploits or glitches to see here at all, guys. So now we got to go to our inner links, and we got to connect the green box, which is the incoming, to the first cargo or first warehouse box in the chain, which in my case, the first one I started with was this one. So now it's all connected. I just make a quick mention about all this. So I'm mining beryllium and copper. They're going into this and this. And then these are going to these machines to get turned into the Tau grade rheostats. And we're going to be using those here in just a second. But first, there's one more thing we need to do here is we need to go to liquids or to gas storage. And we need to add on more gas storage to each of these places just to be safe. And then I need to make sure to reconnect all of my cargo interlinks to the new latest in the chain storage box for the helium. And then I'm going to head over to the other colony. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And finally, everything's ready. We can cross our fingers and hope that these things work. But now we have to do the Easter egg trick with Venus. So if you didn't see my other video, there's an Easter egg in this game. Earth exists, and all that exists is all the way over here. There's a universe called Sol. Over here is Venus. Venus has the slowest rotation in our solar system. So the days in Venus last longer than anywhere else. which means waiting here makes an insane amount of time pass. Now, either you can land in a ship, or if you have high enough planetary habitation, you can make an outpost with a bench and then sit down on it for preferably 24 hours. 24 hours here is 100 days in the rest of the universe. So I waited 100 days and only filled this many boxes with the magnets that we're making, and the reason for that is because, like I talked about earlier, this spot actually was terrible. When you go to do this, make sure that you actually have enough room to put a bunch of these things down and not just 2 of them. So ideally, you'll have a better colony. You won't have to wait as long. I'm going to have to go wait another 100, maybe 200 days, basically 2 days on Venus in order to fill these up. So I waited 2 more days on Venus, and now all of our magnets are done. So now it's time to use these interlinks. And this is where we need to talk about interlinks. So interlinks do not work when you wait. Interlinks only work during playtime, not during game time. So waiting will not make them go faster. So what we're going to do here is, now that we've collected all these, we're going to use all 3 of these interlinks, make them all go to the Andromos system, where we have our manufacturing happening over there. So now they're all 3 connected. What we would do is we would go play our game normally for like an hour until they drain all this storage, and then sleep on Venus for 3 days, and then go play for an hour, and do that until all the storages are full on the other outpost. But I don't feel like waiting that long, so I'm going to go to my skills, and under social, if you get a bunch of stuff in social, you can get outpost management, which will let you build more cargo links if you get the first one. Then you have 6 cargo links in each place. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to expand this, if I can, to 6 cargo links on each one of these places, 6 interlinked cargo systems. So now I have 6 of these interlinked cargo link systems. Now I got to build 3 more in the other outpost. So now I have 6 of those cargo interlinks in both of these outposts. So now I need to go to each of these 3 remaining cargo links, and I need to connect them as well. And then we just gotta wait. So right now it's 4 in the morning. I'm staying up late to finish this video. And I'm gonna, while I'm waiting for this, I'm gonna go try to make a video on how to make that freighter, because everyone's been asking me, and then we'll see if they're done shipping over the goods by then. So I got done making the freighter video. It'll be in the description of this video when you're watching this. But I came back to this and realized something's not right. Somehow they're not draining the cargo from here. So they've already brought over thousands of magnets over to the other one. Time paused while I was building the ship. But either way, like 5 minutes had actually passed once I got out of there. And they've moved thousands of these magnets, but 100% of these are still full. There is no way that this planet is making like 500 magnets per minute or whatever. So I'm wondering if there's a bug, if it's just me, if it'll be this way for you guys too, but it's literally just generating magnets out of nothing. Also, I was doing some math on how long it would take, and basically the way it would work is once every hour it'll fill the storage on the other planet, and then you can grind out a ton of XP, which I'll show you in just a second. But something you can do to speed things up is you can make a freighter just like in the video that I have in the description of this video, like this one, and it can carry 13,000 weight. And then if you want, you can attempt to go over here and then pick up tons of the magnets out of these storages by like flying over to them and then just like grabbing a ton of magnets until you're so overweight that like you can't even move anymore. Watch out for that oxygen, by the way, at the bottom. Don't want to accidentally die. And then you could grab a bunch of magnets like that, and then you can go, and if you have that shipbuilding pad or whatever, have your ship on it, you could go to your ship, go to your cargo hold, go to your inventory, go to your resources, and I have 9,000 magnets to give it now. I can't even give it all those. I picked up more magnets than I can give it. So I can store as many as I can, and then I can just go to my inventory, and I can drop the rest of them. So I can go to resources and drop these, and then I can just come back for them. They should stay there. Even if you save and load the game, they'll stay there. So you could transport 6,000 magnets at a time if you want, but realistically, this is about just coming once every hour and then grinding out the XP. So let me show you what happens. So with 6 landing pads, these will slowly fill up. Each of these rows fills up every like 4 minutes or so. So this entire series of crates will fill up in about 40 to 50 minutes of normal game time. So basically the way that this XP farm works, and it's actually a great thing in my opinion, is once every hour of gameplay or so, you'll come here and you'll go over to an industrial workbench. I'm just going to go ahead and build one real fast. So the industrial workbench is over here in this tab. Industrial workbench. You'll go up to the industrial workbench and you'll go to the comm relay. And then just like my other video, you'll bring it to the top. If you're on Xbox, you got to press right on the D-pad and R1 as fast as you can. And it's going to be like, it's awful, but it's still good XP. It's still really good XP even then. Just think about it this way on Xbox. Every time you press R1 or right on the D-pad, you get 2 XP. But if you're on PC, you can just cheese it, and it's crazy. So what you'll do is you'll get your mouse right here, and then you'll lift your mouse off the mouse pad with it getting right over that bar at the right side, which is really hard to do. I keep accidentally moving it down. Let me try again to get this mouse off the mouse pad. There we go. And then you can press E, and then you can click, and then press E, or whichever way. So then you can spam E and spam click, and you'll be able to, every time you do this, you get 200 XP. Like that. Also, if you're on PC, you can go even faster, like I showed in the other video, by changing your key bindings. You can go to Settings, Bindings, and then you can go down to the menu and change Accept to right-click, and then back out and exit anyway at the bottom. And then you can get it set up, and then what you can do is get this comm relay like this, and then get your mouse off the mouse pad. Like that. And then you can hold it towards you, and with with 4 different fingers, you can just click like crazy on both clicks, and then you can do something like this, and then you can burn through all those materials in just like 2 or 3 minutes and get yourself a quick, I forget what the math was on it. I think it was 40,000 or 50,000 XP or something like that for how many cargo crates I had there. So realistically, it'd be smarter to have even more warehouses than what I have there. Because, so the way this works, so I just got like, I don't know what that was, 15,000 XP or something. I didn't really wait. I only let these things fill for like 10 minutes. What would probably be the smartest thing would be to make twice as much or 4 times as much of these warehouses. And then what you can do is just go play the game for like half a day. Just go play the game normally. And then come here, and there will literally be like 1,000,000+ XP ready for you to click out over there. And then once you have that XP ready, you go as fast as you can. And during that whole period of time, you're going to be grinding it out at 40,000 XP per minute. That's how fast you can go through it if you do it with the mouse, like how I showed you right there. On Xbox, it's going to be a lot slower, but it's still going to be crazy fast. Every time you press right on the D-pad and every time you press R1, you're going to be getting 2 XP when you do it. So you could probably get like, you know, 20, 30 XP per second or 10 or 20 XP per second on Xbox, which is still pretty good. So that's it, guys. This is the new iteration of this. If you were wondering about another way to farm XP, this one's a lot more complicated, and it's you know, you have to pace it. You can't just grind it out all at once. But if you set it up, then every like few hours of gameplay, you can come here and you can get like 500,000 XP or something like that, and you can do it way faster, twice as fast as the old way for the amount of time that you spend after the initial setup cost. So I think this one's way better. This is a much more effective way to level up. You just come here every so often and grind out a ton of XP. Also, this is kind of a money farm too. It's not the greatest money farm, but you do get a lot of money doing this because those items that I have, this is 8,000 comm relays. That's worth almost 100,000 credits. So you could take that in 2 shipments and then go slowly dole those out to vendors and just get a ton of money. You could use the outpost trick or civilian outpost on Venus trick that I showed in the previous video I made, where you go to Venus and try to just find randomly generated civilian outposts and then sit there and rest 1 hour and then sell and rest 1 hour and sell, because 1 hour is 100 hours of universal time on Venus. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But the main focus of this was XP. The money is a secondary thing, but you actually will get, like, it's hard to calculate it because it's intermittent, but you know, something like 100,000, 300,000 credits per hour on average, or 500,000 on hour, whatever, something crazy. As fast as you can sell it to the vendor if you stock them up correctly. You can also drop them on the ground and leave them, and they'll never disappear, so you can come get them whenever you want. But either way, guys, that about wraps it up. Hopefully this one helped you out, man. It's 5 in the morning. I'm going to go to bed. It's actually 5:30 in the morning. So sub for more stuff. I've got a lot more stuff coming down the pipeline. Lots of cool stuff, even cooler than this. Definitely stay tuned for more, but that's it for this one. Hopefully this helped you out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Now you know how to average 40,000 XP per hour in Starfield.